we've just watched the talk you gave at TEDxThessaloniki. I remember my own emotions when I watched this for the first time at TED Global Geneva. And I remember how the 400 people in that room reacted to it. I can perfectly imagine how people in this room are feeling now. So I know you're in touch with Doaa because you're writing her story in a book soon to be published. So how are Doaa and Masa today?
Well, obviously, she's still traumatized. It's going to take a while. But the good news and the happy news, after being well over 1 year in Greece and very isolated, unable to travel, unable to see her family, she has now been resettled to Sweden. And on the same day she was resettled to Sweden, her family, her mother, her dad, and her sisters and brother were also resettled to Sweden, to the very same snowy town where they are now reestablishing their lives. She's restarted school. Her sisters are in school. She's learning Swedish. So she's starting, I think really the healing process is finally starting to begin.
Okay, thank you. That's good news. Good to know. And the second question would be, we all read the newspapers and we all see the news, what's happening every day. We are all very worried about the situation of the refugees in Eastern Europe. I'm sure most of the people in this room are questioning, what can I do? What can they do?
Yeah, I think that what we have here is a situation where you have 60 million forcibly displaced people in the world, and that's a number that is causing people to react in different ways. We're seeing, enormous compassion, particularly in the countries that have the most refugees right now, like Greece, and like Germany, like Sweden, like Austria. But we're also seeing a lot of fear. So whenever you have big numbers of people coming, especially when they're arriving in a chaotic way like they have been to Europe because the EU wasn't able to manage this situation properly, it's very easy for politicians to exploit the fears of people, the fears that are, understandable but sometimes irrational. And that's what we're seeing now. What we saw at the beginning of the crisis in Europe was compassion was winning over fear. And people were greeted at the train stations with flowers and with refugee welcome signs, and really, really warm. And now as the fear has taken over, and the fear has translated into borders going up. You've all seen it on your televisions. There is not... basically, Europe has turned into a fortress, and the only reason it seems there are no borders around it is because you can't erect borders in the sea. So we have about 50,000 people who are stuck in Greece, and now there's a new deal that many will be turned back. It's becoming an ugly situation, but we're saying, actually, there are still so many compassionate people that want refugees to be treated humanely. And it's up to us to get to know their stories. And that's why I tell, individual stories like the story of Doaa, because if you know why people are fleeing, if you know what they went through, then you're not going to build a border or shut the door in their face.
Okay, Melissa, thanks so much for this, for your time.
It was great to be with you.
And well, I hope the best for you. And of course, I hope that this particular situation goes on quickly and that we can, all of us, do something to help every one of us in our small way, to relieve a little their situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for caring.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.